current status of digital transformation projects in your organization and how is it transforming the company. Please also talk about your future plans. And here I would request Namrita ma'am and Nagendra Pratap Singh ji, if you can. So to start with Namrita ma'am.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here at this forum, and good afternoon, everyone.
You will have to
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me better? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for having me at this forum. Talking about, what are we doing currently at Aditya Birla Chemicals in digital transformation, I'd say that, there is a 5-pronged focus. I like to call it the ABCDE of digital transformation. As there would be no surprises for AI, and I think AI has become a fundamental part of our businesses as we speak. I'm not just talking about generative AI. Generative AI is the new kid on the block. It's been around for over a year, and yes, there are things that we're experimenting with, but AI per se, traditional AI, which we use in predictive analytics, which we use in quality and reliability enhancement, etc., is what I'm really talking about. So that's one area that we are focusing on hugely. The second area, B, is for business models, and I think business models come from both ways. So far, in the manufacturing sector, particularly chemicals manufacturing, a lot of the focus has been around looking at operational excellence. But I think there are new windows of opportunities which are opening up in terms of business models, whether one is looking at the e-commerce space, whether one is looking at circularity with greener products, and certain other business models which are coming into play. The C stands for cybersecurity. I think post-pandemic, that's become sort of, even more accentuated in terms of a priority area, not just for organizations, but even for boards. Similarly with cloud, I think a couple of years back, everybody looked at a cloud-first strategy. I think that's shifted gears, and it's become a hybrid cloud approach, because you need to figure out, what makes sense for your organization for a particular use case rather than having a blanket approach. The D is really for data, and I think with the Data Privacy Act, which has come up now, when you are, not just from an India perspective, but there are data privacy regulations across the globe, and with our footprint across multiple geographies, that becomes extremely important. And finally, the E is for ESG, and I think over here, again, coming from the chemical industry and this sector, the safety and sustainability elements sort of, come center stage. So that's sort of the canvas that we are playing with. Now, within that, I think what is important to understand is that we have the benefit of being part of a larger group. So there are 3 things that I'd say particularly help us. One is from a group perspective, we focus a lot on building platforms, whether it is platforms for cloud, whether it's platforms for IoT, whether it's platforms for generative AI or some of the other technologies like AR, VR, or for APIs, etc. So the platform approach really is something that we've taken as the way forward, and that cascades across individual companies within the group also. The second element for us is around, building COEs. So we have these COEs for existing mainstream technologies and new emerging technologies. And that becomes a huge asset for us from a perspective of capability building, skill building, and leveraging, advisory and expert talent, which maybe as an individual organization one may not have access to or may not require on a full-time basis. So I think these are 2 of the other benefits that one would look at. From a governance point of view, again, and I think that's the last piece that I'll pull in, from a digitalization point of view, I think that is changing significantly. We're going to see not just the Data Privacy Act, not just things which are happening in terms of changes in the IT Act, but a lot more governance coming in, which one will have to be cognizant of as one moves forward. There is the ESG, the sustainability, the BRSR reporting, etc., that one is talking about, but there also digital has a role to play. So maybe later I can elaborate a little bit more on that. But with that, Pravin, I'll pause. I think
thank you, ma'am. Nagendra ji, if you can just talk about briefly.
Good afternoon, everybody. directly jump to the initiatives which IOCL is taking up in
Closer to you.
different sector. So let me brief about IOCL. It is divided into 4 different groups. One is R&D, refineries, pipelines, and marketing divisions. So the department strategic IS was set up in 1920. So initially we did some addition workshops wherein the 49 use cases were shortlisted. That was related to the OT, operational technology. The major challenges was to integrate, collate, and quantify the data. So IOCL has placed one data management platform wherein the data can be collated, segregated, and can be visualized. So after that, different workshops have been conducted by IOCL, and now we are sitting on, let's say, 512 initiatives. We are executing those initiatives. And currently, we saved around 1,000 crore rupees after implementing these initiatives. I'll elaborate a few initiatives.
And what's the time frame?
Yeah, it is four years. From 20 onwards till date, we saved around 1,000 crore rupees. So the major initiatives which took place in IOCL, we have a advanced process control in refineries. Earlier, the yield optimization was around 62%. We placed a model wherein the LPG price-related component was shortlisted, and on the basis of that, the yield has been gone up to a 92%. So one single initiative, it was done in Mathura refinery. It was the smallest refinery in India. So after that, 1 year yield optimization, which has gone up to from 62 to 92%, the cost saving is around 58 CR for 3 months. So now that has been rolled out in all other 9 refineries. Recently, a deep learning model has been placed, and the pilot project is Panipat refinery, wherein the 6 months data has been populated to the deep learning model, wherein the slicing, deep driving of the data has been done. Now the saving has gone up to from 58 to 92 CR for 1 quarter. So likewise, we did some customer churn related initiatives for the business development group of IOCL, wherein the petrochemical component division is taking care of it. Recently, that project has gone live, and the benefit estimation has occurred. We saved around 114 crore rupees for 22-23 year. So likewise, for LPG, CNG, gas portfolio management, few of the initiatives have been discussed internally. Whatever knowledge we have, 10 years, 15 years of knowledge, due to which there was a lag in between where the user was not actually implementing this, their knowledge full-fledgedly in the plant. Once the digitalization has occurred, the experience which we got from their ideas, that has been implemented in the projects, and the budget, the benefit estimated signed by the group was 114 for 22-23 CR. So by doing that digitalizations, we can save this much of amount of money in any of the company. So thing is, the idea, taking the idea from the public sector company is difficult because of the mindset. And now once the idea has been implemented, that saving can be elaborated in such a way that you can quantify that savings. So these are the few parts which I'm elaborating for you.
So now you are looking at new technologies, which is AI, ML, digital twin, 5G, and others. So what is the projected saving that you are planning once these are being deployed?
So currently, one of the project we have implemented for Mathura refinery, it is a private 5G implementation. So currently in the plant, there is no connectivity. So there are accidents also. We are not evaluating the accidents, and there are fault finding also. So currently, the accident took place wherein 5 or 6 persons were died in the night due to LPG leakage. That can be detected from the private 5G. We are doing this project with BSNL. So once this is through, then we can avoid uninterrupted shutdowns, accidents. Second project is for R&D Research and Development Group. We are implementing hydrogen solar panel, wherein the green hydrogen can be generated along with the electricity. So these are the two initiatives we are carrying out. And once it is through, then we may save thousands of crore rupees.
Thank you for this short on the projects part and the new technologies.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Nair, you have been a strong votary of all these new technologies you have been utilizing, and I saw your presentation. So what's your piece of advice to the CIOs sitting here? And what would be the cost effectiveness both in the short term and the long term?
Yeah, we've actually worked with several companies, starting actually, because while we've been doing remote support of operations for the last 20 plus years, we actually started deploying AI-based systems starting 2015. So we've had several experiences. So one of the things we've consistently seen, and which I may have already mentioned, is where, the early adopters, there has always been a tendency to, there's a lot of technologies that keep coming, even the whole Gen AI. So you could easily get carried away, and if you get too technology driven, and then try to use that as a hammer for, and everything starts looking like a nail, that's where some of the problems start, and you don't see the value. So, like Nagendra said, identifying the use cases up front and defining that really requires that time has to be spent. If that is not done and you take a purely technology-based approach, that's where we've seen a lot of people have not really seen the value coming out of it. So this is where I think people have worked with us, because given our, our ability to marry the domain with these expert areas. So being cognizant of that and being careful with that when you proceed, I think that is the single biggest thing that I can.
Thank you, sir. Krishnakumar, Pandey ji, if you can talk about how AI can transform supply chain and procurement and manufacturing operations for your company.
Thanks. Hello. Yeah, so AI is not just a buzzword, okay? It is actually a reality. And if you look at every dimension, whether it is supply chain, whether it is procurement, whether it is manufacturing operations, there are a lot of efficiencies which is brought by the AI. The driver for this AI adoption is to improve the sustainability, to reduce the cost, which is going to bring operational efficiency and competitive advantage. So when I talk about when I talk about the supply chain efficiency, I can share two examples. Because the demand forecasting was always a pain for organization, and with the AI model, people are able to take the data from the external sources, which is market intelligence, plus whatever the inventory they have in their warehouse, their locations, plus whatever is the past sales history. So using all this data, their accuracy has improved, which has helped us to reduce the supply chain cost. Second, when we talk about supply chain resiliency, we are talking about connected devices, IoT devices, to monitor the real-time movement of raw material and finished goods. This gives a lot of facility to the people or supply chain person, so that they can optimize the route, they can forecast the schedule, and they can maintain the environmental condition, so that so that customer can get the real benefit. The procurement efficiency, if I talk about two examples, one is that using robotic process automation to automate the monotonous routine jobs like purchase order creation or invoice processing. Second, in the procurement efficiency, people are using AI to generate the supplier performance more real time, using the data which they have already in their ERP, like what is the price at which supplier is providing the material, what is the quality of material supplier is providing, and in terms of delivery schedules. So in the procurement efficiency, these are the two important use cases which I could share. There are many more such use cases are possible. The AI adoption is happening rapidly in the manufacturing operations, and which is very significantly visible. So I will share two examples there also, like people are using predictive analytics to monitor the health of their equipments, critical equipment. So that helps business to monitor the equipment and predict their failure, which is helping them to reduce unplanned downtime, which is helping them to improve the usability life of the asset, and it helps to reduce the overall maintenance cost. The second use case is where artificial intelligence is helping to analyze large amount of data which is generated from the in-process manufacturing, and it is helping them to redefine the manufacturing process, which will help them to improve the yield. So in nutshell, I think AI is really helping the manufacturing organization or the industry, both in terms of productivity gains, second in terms of large transformation, which is large cost-saving initiatives.
Thank you, Krishnaji. Jigyasa, if you can add on that part for the supply chain and procurement, how you are using AI technologies.
Yeah, so interestingly, I mean, building on to the same topic, because when we talk technology and transforming, possibly AI is on top of everybody's mind. But I think most part has been covered already by Mr. Krishnakumar. But I would like to touch upon very interesting aspects. So Moglix is, of course, a B2B commerce company. So B2B commerce, or bringing what has been offline to online, is a key passion that we carry across all the possibilities. So chemical marketplace is another hot topic, which has been very, very interesting. Now, everybody's aware of Chemondes, which is like one of the market leaders and Germany-based company which started selling chemical online. That distribution area is a big area where we see as a commerce company where AI is going to become big. The recommendation engine, which is completely run on the basis of AI, the whole role of eliminating the long tail of sales process where you consult or you talk too much to the customer before they are able to purchase something, and not just a chat bot which has somebody sitting behind, but a total AI based solutioning. So the solution based sales happening online along with negotiation, the chemical marketplace is one big area which we see. And it's going to take overall global scale of Indian chemical company to a next level, is what we believe in completely. And again, on the procurement side, one of the things that will really help in de-risking supply chain, and we ourselves do that, is of course not just forecasting, but getting the external intelligence as to, which is not limited to the commodity index fluctuation, but literally what is happening where and how that will build in, programs to de-risk your supply chain. I mean, forget about the Red Sea and the COVID, which is like a really global event, but there are too many other smaller things happening in the pocket which can impact a single company in a much larger way, if not globally having its impact. So that's one area. And on the procurement side, we're talking of ESG. I'm going to pick a very, very small topic, which is typically a pain point with most companies sitting here would agree, is supplier audit. And, supplier audit, not just in terms of it's not a one-time thing that you audit the supplier on the basis of finances or on the basis of their overall, scorecard, but it's an ongoing process, and especially becoming stringent when it comes to, ESG being a very, very hot topic. So that's another area where we are at least, utilizing AI. Now, last but not the least, how do you bring all of this together? Now, I know generative AI has been spoken about a lot, natural language processing looks like a fad now. But in order to use AI in the right way, you literally have to make the platform as simple as you can ask any question and you get answered. And yes, I mean, as the presentation showed, we will have to be patient with it, because it's a tool which is learning, and we have to be invested in it, and only then we will be able to see all these changes. But yes, very, very interesting changes that the chemical industry can see because of AI. especially along the side of supply chain, is what we see.
Thanks, Jigyasa. Now I come to Roshansingh Navlur from Cadmatic Software Solutions. You have heard all the CIOs, so what is it that you are trying to provide? Because they are now all focusing on AI, ML, digital twin, 5G, and many other technologies which they have not able to grapple with in terms of, because they start with pilots, then they go for sort projects, and then they go for deploying across all the plants. So what is it, what are the solutions that you have that you bring to both chemical as well as petrochemical companies? And second is the digital solutions that you have been providing for intelligent 3D based design and engineering solutions, how will it be helpful for these companies?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for this opportunity, and very good afternoon to all the distinguished delegates. I heard from earlier panelists and my co-panelists, it's about the challenges and how as a solution provider we can ensure this digital transformation from traditional method to more digital ones. So it's, as a solution provider on behalf of Cadmatic, I can mention here, and we need to give proper tools, technologies, and expertise that can transmit those existing traditional method and train those personals, upskill their tasks, upskill their knowledge to the current scenario. As we are, as an India, we are heading towards the global level. We are competing with many countries like Germany, China. So this is a very much important thing, I must say here. Second thing, when we talk about chemical and petrochemical, so our proposal is like from earlier panelists, I saw that there is a collaborative way of working. There was a challenge. There is a efficiency in operational methodologies. There is a query about like how to make decisions more effective, efficient. So all these are possible with this current trend like IoTs, AI, ML, what our panelists are mentioning over here. So we have these kind of solutions which can prevent the futuristic like reworking, or you can say like investment that is required after the construction is done. You can get it rectified at the design level itself, in a virtual plant itself. Like, so we have got AI, AR, augmented reality, mixed reality, virtual reality also facilities are available, where you can design your entire plant, go to that vacant area, through the VR process, you can actually see how your plant is going to look over there. So anything is there needed to be changed, you can make the, like mock-ups, kind of, like comments, like something is not suitable to the existing building, something is clashing. So this helps in taking an initiative decision, and then you can modify your, whatever the design done, and you will be having a as-built model also. Moreover, coming to this kind of a 3D technology, along with the simulations, this plays a very, very important role, where you can easily recognize. I'm not talking about after the commissioning or construction, during the construction or operation maintenance, well in advance only. You can see, like as per the regulatory regulations, you can see, put all those parameters, performance of all the objects inside those models, they are working properly, and you can take right decisions. So how I can rectify to make it more efficient way and more efficient processes. As a result, you will be having error-free, less human intervention, those kind of things possible, and we have those kind of solutions. We have been given a proven track records in multiple industries also. So yes, we are capable, and this is my take from this particular questions.
Thank you, sir. Ranjan Chatterjee, Head Strategic Sales. You have been a strong proponent of digitalization in the energy efficiency, both on the conservation side as well as on the automation side. Would you talk about energy efficiency improvement because of digitalization coming into the picture?
Surely. Thanks for the question and good afternoon to all. And before that, before I directly talk to, answer the exact question what you asked, what we have been hearing is, and for the last 1 hour, which is resonating loud and clear, are the price pressures and the cost pressures, and something which was also touched upon, the environmental regulatory pressures also, which is also going to enhance on the cost pressure as well. So the industry is going through this issue around, very thin margins. So something which we feel that many things are not in our hand, but the one thing which is in our hand is energy efficiency and process efficiency improvement by all this manufacturing industry. Something on which Forbes Marshall has been working for the last 77 years. And we have been partnering the industry towards improving energy efficiency and process efficiency, and thereby delivering tangible benefits in terms of cost reduction. So typically, if you look at the utility as a cost of conversion is around 20, anything it hovers between 20 to 35%. So what we do in Forbes Marshall is essentially we undertake deep dive energy assessment studies. We, we have domain knowledge, serious domain knowledge around energy and process efficiency, particularly on the thermal side. And then we assess the gap areas, identify the potential, and then we take the customers, we customize and curate solutions, and take the customers, we guide the customers towards implementation, and then finally documenting the savings. With the advent of digitalization, what has happened, one thing which we have been very careful about is to front-end the energy efficiency part as a domain knowledge, and use digital tool as a augmenting tool to do the whatever we are doing in a much bigger way. Say, for example, the 3 steps which I mentioned, the first step is about energy assessment. When we are using the digital tools, some of which my fellow panelists also mentioned, we are seeing that there is a huge additional potential what we are seeing. For example, on the thermal side, what we traditionally see for any industry of chemical, petrochemical included, we see a saving potential around hovering between 10 to 15%. But when we are using our digital mindset and the tools, we see that the savings potential actually enhances from up to 25%. Because why is it so? The reason is we monitor certain KPIs around the energy efficiency network. KPIs like the efficiency around generation, the KPIs around energy generation, KPIs around distribution, KPIs around process utilization, where energy meets the process. That's a very dynamic area, which is, and then also on the condensate recovery side, also the KPIs. So when we monitor these KPIs real time right now, we see that the variances are much more than what when we earlier used to do through the episodic data. So the real-time data is throwing up much bigger potential. And when we analyze this, we are also coming up with solutions and products which are digitally talking. And then also they are meeting the KPIs as well. And the third aspect what we are working on is earlier we were documenting the savings and asking the customers to maintain it and sustain it. We see that once the KPIs are achieved or improved, it's very difficult to sustain them on an ongoing basis because of, again, the variations which take place in the process side on the demand side. So there we are coming up with partnering the customers in terms of KPI sustenance as well, so that not only we are able to see a higher potential, but we are also providing a sustenance there. One area which is finding a lot of prominence, which we are seeing, and something a lot more to do, is around process control and automation. This is an area where we see, I spoke about the almost like a 50% additional saving potential what we right now see with the help of using these digital tools. The bulk of it is coming in the process utilization area, the energy utilization area in the process. So this is where we come from. One caveat and caution is in our strategy, we don't intend to sensorize the whole plant because that will call for a huge investment. We kind of use our domain knowledge and try and sensorize only the critical parameters which will impact on the, the essential, the bigger, the saving opportunities which exist. So we are taking a very balanced route in terms of, and with an end product in mind, with an end objective in mind, which is delivering actual, savings for the industry. That's how we are approaching as far as energy efficiency and digitalization is concerned.
Sir, any additions to whatever on the energy efficiency part, Krishnaji?
Yeah, just to add, I think it's a journey. So probably the first step is that, you need to put some sensor or some devices to measure the cost. I think the Pareto principle really helps. And wherever you have a high cost, I think putting those devices so that you get more real-time data. And then you can focus on high-value items. The second thing is that, where we can focus on using the energy management. So there are digital energy management solutions which helps you to manage the demand. Okay, so if you are taking the power supply from one grid and you are going to shoot the peak load period, then it's better to distribute the grid so that you get the better cost power supplies. That's all.
Namrita ma'am, everybody is talking about ESG and there is no company which doesn't have a ESG plan. And they have to achieve, but the problem is all the systems are not digitally integrated. So how easy or difficult it is as a CIO for you to see that the digitalization journey helps in achieving ESG targets?
Yeah, I think that's a very pertinent point, Pravin, because the reality is that within the chemical sector also we have 5 businesses. And each of the 5 are at different stages of digital maturity. So when you're looking at ESG data, and if we look at BRSR reporting, if I just go back to that for a moment, you're looking at not just the data which is coming in, from your plant, but from your, the people data, the data which is related to your suppliers, to your customers. You're looking at an ecosystem of data which needs to be gathered. Now, all of that data, is it 100% digitalized? The answer is no. So for us, I think the first stage is to really look at, and compliance is a good way to start off generally when you're starting on these journeys, to say, yeah, how do we digitalize all of this data? Right? And then how do you have a unified view of the data? And therefore, we are creating a data lake, which is going to actually hold all of that data and allow us to do a certain level of analytics and allow us to do a certain level of insighting on that data so that we go beyond reporting. So that's really the first step. The second element is that you're looking at also a combination. Sometimes, we get very blinded by ESG and digitalization. But just going back to the point that everybody else was also making, that you have to look at manufacturing excellence, because those are the opportunities where you will find that, there are gaps in processes, here are equipments which are not working well, and therefore, when you're looking at ESG from an energy perspective, and I'm not going to delve into that, there are huge opportunities over there. The third area is in terms of the new kind of products that one is looking at, and there we're talking about, for example, our advanced material business has a product called Recyclamin, and so we're really looking at saying how do we create an ecosystem for a green product, and there again building up IP in these areas around ESG, around circularity comes into play. So I think these are some of the opportunities as I see, for building on that story of ESG.